What's up, you guys? Boris here with another episode of Finance Talk. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. I am your host today, and I am your fellow finance junkie. I myself am just like you guys. We're all fellow finance junkies here. We talk about real estate. We talk about equities. We talk about microeconomics. We talk about all facets of finance, you guys. We're all junkies, finance junkies here, you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Today's episode is an update on PHI Group, ticker symbol PHIL. I had made a video about this equity about 3 weeks ago. This is my high conviction stock. I allocated a large portion of my portfolio into this company after extensive due diligence. 3 weeks ago I posted a video. It's gotten great feedback. I appreciate all the support, you guys. I am humbled. Most importantly, I am really grateful for that you guys joined me in and investing into this company. You guys made the right decision. And I've gotten a lot of requests for an update about this stock. So here we are today, update number 2, PHI Group. Let's get into it, you guys. By the way, you guys, if you guys haven't seen video number 1 in regards to PHI Group containing my introduction, I'll link it over here to the side. It'll either be on this side or in this side. Hit the link, check out that first video containing all the background information, and then circle back to video number 2 with some additional updates, most recent updates. First and foremost, you guys, I want to give a shout out to the entire investor community who's been active on whether it's StockTwits, Twitter, Reddit, Facebook, Discord, all over the place. The investor community, it's like a family, you guys. We're very close-knit. And we're not talking about rocking Lambos. We're talking about due diligence. There is the occasional Lambo, however, you guys, and which is cool, but let's focus on the due diligence. Much love to all you guys. And I want to give a special shout out to a few individuals. First and foremost, special shout out goes to the due diligence godfather himself, Mr. SD Hunter. I appreciate you, man. I hope the name is cool with you. I just thought of that. Much love to you. Next shout out goes to New York City Boss, active on Reddit and StockTwits, who's putting forth a lot of due diligence. Much love and much appreciation to you. Next shout out, Mr. Sober Trades, putting out additional content about PHI Group, bringing more exposure to the company. Much appreciation to you guys. And most importantly, much love and appreciation to Henry, our beloved CEO, doing a phenomenal job at the helm of the ship. Much love to you guys. When you invest in PHI Group, you're investing into a family, you guys. We're very close-knit with our due diligence. We all believe in our CEO. And when you're investing in PHI Group, you're investing and bringing investment infrastructure to Vietnam, the second fastest growing GDP in the world, you guys. You guys are doing a good thing by investing in Vietnam. So hats off to everybody who's a shareholder. You guys are doing the right thing. Alright guys, no discussion of PHI Group is complete without speaking about Henry, our beloved CEO. Henry is a Vietnamese national. He served in the Vietnamese War as an officer, and following the Vietnamese War, when Vietnam collapsed to Japan, he tried to escape the country, to try to escape communism, and was captured upon escape. He was put into an imprisonment camp, a work camp, a labor camp, and he served, I think it was 3.5 years as a prisoner of war in a labor camp, you guys. And there's an interview available on YouTube, which I'll link in the description, in which Henry served in an imprisonment camp and spoke about how he found religion in the most dire time in his life. He's really an astounding individual, you guys. Someone to really look up to. He's no slouch, you guys. Following his internment as a POW, he was released. He tried to escape again. He was captured again and imprisoned again, you guys. And he never lost faith. Amazing individual. He went on to work for the United Nations as in terms of refugee resettlement. He worked in that capacity. He went on to University of Berkeley, got his undergrad, went on to Harvard Business School, and graduated cum laude. Really an impressive individual, you guys. Yeah, that's my bio on Henry, our CEO. When asked at a recent conference, Henry, how many shares do you own? He responded, I don't own a lot of shares. I bought shares when they were very high priced, some at $3 and sometimes at 35 and 37 cents. I put most, if not all, of my money into the company. I will own a lot more shares, just not right now. I have other priorities to do. I have to execute on my job first. Get it done first. Henry has high conviction in his company. He's dedicated most of his life savings into the company, and the majority of his life has been dedicated to his company. he has high conviction in his company, and I personally have high conviction in Henry. Now Henry has so much conviction in his own company, he's issued himself stock options. 4.7 million options at a fixed price of 24 cents per share with an expiration of September 2023. Just 27 months out from now. I certainly hope we reach these lofty price targets. Myself and Henry included will certainly be very happy if in fact we do reach these targets. Alright guys, I just want to take a moment before I jump into solid due diligence to talk about what's been happening most recently with the company. I want to just take a moment and really make certain there's a thorough understanding of what's important in getting pink current, you guys. There's been a lot of emphasis in getting pink current. And the reason is not because there's a lot of vital information in the 8Ks and the 10Ks and the 10Qs. We're not looking for significant information in the past, you guys, because we know that Henry established a lot of companies in the past, and he bought ownerships, interest in a lot of various companies. Some of them were unsuccessful, some of them have minimal revenues. The emphasis in getting pink current is because Henry has been working diligently behind the scenes, most recently to establish the Asia Diamond Exchange, the multi-commodity exchanges, to establish the Philux Fund. He's been back and forth to Vietnam, Laos, Luxembourg, the US. He's been working diligently to establish a lot of new exciting enterprises. What he's working on right now is going to dwarf anything he's done in the past, you guys. It's the future potential of this company that we're most excited for. And the emphasis in getting pink current is so that Henry can freely speak about what he's working on. He's unable to fully disclose what he's been working on behind the scenes most recently because there's an SEC requirement that he has to release information in a sequential order. He's unable to tell us about what he's working on today because we need to get current on 12 months ago. So there's been a lot of emphasis on what's in these filings in the past 12 months. And I'm less concerned on what's in the filings from 12 months ago. I'm more concerned with what he's been working on the last couple of weeks and the last couple of months, you guys. So every time Henry speaks, hi! So you guys, every time Henry speaks at a conference, what I see within him is a lot of excitement. He's like a child in a toy store, just full of excitement. And I could see how it might be frustrating because he's not able to speak about what he's currently working on. His arms are tied behind his back because he's confined in what he's able to disclose today because he needs to get pink current, you guys. But whenever he speaks about the most recent projects, you see the excitement. Whenever he speaks about the filings, it's just kind of like a course of doing business. So when getting current, he says, "When I get current, I'm going to tell you about the Asia Diamond Exchange. I'm going to tell you about the Luxembourg Philux funds. I'm going to tell you about the multi-commodity exchanges. I'm going to tell you about the most recent projects. Most recently, his sports pouch company merged with Glink. I'm going to speak about that. There's a lot of developments in which he hasn't been able to tell us about. So I'm going to touch on the share buybacks. I did share in video 1 that Henry has pledged to purchase from 13 upwards of 15 billion shares and retire those shares from the float. That amounts to an excess of 50% of the market cap, which is tremendous value to shareholders. And Henry has pledged time and time again that his MO is to bring tremendous value to shareholders. But there's been a lot of speculation, a lot of FUD most recently, as to whether these share buybacks are even happening. There's been a lot of speculation as to where the revenue came from to accomplish such a tremendous share buyback purchase. Well, let me state firstly, I don't think Henry is buying the vast majority of shares at 1.5 cents, which is today's market value. He's probably purchased them at a much lower cost basis. He's been buying back shares for years. This press conference was from June 2020, and it states that the share buyback was extended through June 2021. And that was just published in 2020, but they've been working on it for years, you guys. In 2020, they only extended it through 21, but like I said, it's been in the works for years. So the cost basis is much lower. Furthermore, Henry has stated in the past that he did secure private investment capital to accomplish the share buybacks. Now here's some slides from SD Hunter's due diligence packet. Slide 97 states that the original buyback program was supposed to be from April 2019 through March of 2020. Next slide states the original buyback program supposed to be concluded in March of 2020 was supposed to be for 5.3 billion shares. then extended upwards of 13 billion shares, and then when it was most recently extended through 2021 of June 2021, it was upwards of 15 billion or more as needed, you guys. So the share buyback program has become more and more ambitious as time has gone on, and bringing more shareholder value. Guys, very important data in regards to the share buybacks is a number of people in the investor community have been closely watching the level 2 data. The level 2 data records the time in sales at any given moment. You're able to see how many shares are being transacted. Furthermore, you're able to look at the bid-ask spread at an in-depth analysis. It's very useful information. This information is very useful in terms of analyzing the share buybacks. I'm going to link in the description of my video this slide from Investrorhub. Investrorhub user DJK0689. Props to you, sir. He put out a very solid slide of due diligence. It seems that he collaborated with Dusty Hunter in some of this content. And I'm going to bring your attention to his third point. His third point, he's discussing the share buybacks. He's recording the level 2 data, and he's put out a chart with certain dates and the number of shares that were transacted. And he also gave a screenshot of some of the brokerages that are speculated to be facilitating the share buybacks. It is speculated that Henry has retained a third-party brokerage to acquire the shares on his behalf. And once he's entirely pink current, he's going to take possession of those shares from the brokerage and then retire them in one date. So here's a screenshot of perhaps some of the brokerages that may be acquiring these shares. And here's another screenshot of the time in sales. This is FINRA data. You can record it. You can retrieve this information from FINRA. To really understand what we're talking about, the share buybacks, it's important that I explain to you SEC Safe Harbor Rule 10B/18. The reason this rule is very important because it relates to share buybacks. It basically states here, I have highlighted there, 25% of the average daily volume. A company cannot purchase 25% of their own volume on any average daily volume, which is really important so that they don't manipulate their own share price too much. Now let's jump to the brokerage. Let's take a look at it in some of these dates to see if this is accurate. Let's take a look at February 1st. February 1st, 873,000 shares were transacted. Let's take a look at February 1st on the volume chart here. So on February 1st, about 580,000 shares approximately were transacted on that date. And on February 1st, of those 580,000 shares, 873,000 were transacted by these brokerages, which is less than 25% of the daily volume. Now, my last and final point in regards to share buybacks is I'm going to discuss the difference between the outstanding shares and the public float. We know we have approximately 25 billion outstanding shares issued by PHI Group. However, the float is only the amount of shares that are being able to be traded on a daily volume. The public float is only 8.8 billion. So it's speculated that PHI has completed the share buybacks and those shares have been set aside. They have not been retired yet, so they still remain a count of the outstanding shares. However, they're not available in the public float. Also, listen, this is just speculation. I don't know what's going on with Market Watch, but they're showing the market cap is 129 billion, which is only about 1/3 of the actual market cap, today's market cap. Furthermore, this public float is only 1/3 of the outstanding shares. So you guys, I don't know, the share buybacks have not been announced, but according to this data, 2/3 of the outstanding shares are not accounted for in the float. Also, it states here that the market cap is 2/3 what it actually was. So guys, just speculation. I can't, like I said, the share buybacks have not been confirmed. Let me give a shout out to StockTwits user Adventure Trader. He gives an excellent explanation of what we think is going on with the share buybacks. So the outstanding shares is still 25 billion, but the public float is available to trade is 8.8 billion, meaning the rest is on hold and not available to be traded to the public. Because it cannot be declared retired until pink current, so it's still considered as part of the outstanding shares. Great explanation, Adventure Trader. Thank you for being a contributor to the investor community. Now, as we approach the conclusion of June 2021, at the time of this recording, we haven't gotten some updates in several weeks from Henry in regards to the share buyback programs, and now we're getting hysteric, you guys. We're getting hysterical. A lot of people are speculating the share buybacks never happened. Henry was tricking us. It was a scam. You guys, cool it with all the hysteria. Cool it with the FUD, you guys. We have a lot of evidence that the share buybacks have been going on. Henry has spoken about it at conference calls numerous times. He's published it in 8Ks and 10Ks. It's going on, you guys. You guys need to just be patient. Henry has hired auditors, and he's been ambitious with the time frame, but ultimately it is out of his control. He's not conducting the audit, the third party is. And as much as he wishes, and we all wish that they've worked quicker, they just aren't, you guys. And it's just the fact of the matter. We can't do anything about it. Henry is not able to announce the share repurchases and retire the shares until we're fully pink current. We just aren't pink current, so he just can't announce the shares, the share buybacks. That doesn't mean they never took place. That simply means that he just can't announce it yet, you guys. So if you sell out prior to the announcement, you're going to miss out on substantial upside. Henry has stated he's going to retire upwards of 50% of the market cap, in excess of 50% of the market cap, you guys. Imagine what's that going to do to this price, you guys. A smaller float. You guys, it's going to be astronomical. It's going to be amazing when it's announced, you guys. So cooler with the FUD. Patience, you guys. Diamond hands, you guys. In regards to the American Pacific Resources special dividend, the dividend is still in the works. However, it's being delayed, and there's no reason to become hysterical, you guys. Their special dividend is still in the works. Henry simply can't spin off the special dividend until he's entirely pink current. And as I stated previously, his hands are tied. We're waiting on auditors to conclude their audits of all the financials. So there's really nothing further we can do. He cannot spin off this company until he's entirely pink current. Also, it's in our interest to complete the share buybacks as well, because it would be a much smaller float as a result. And it's far more desirable to have a smaller float of PHI Group as well as a new special dividend APR company. We want smaller floats, you guys. That's desirable. We want Henry to conclude the share buybacks and retire the shares, then spin off the company. So it's really in our best interest to remain patient, you guys. So remember, you guys, diamond hands, don't panic, you guys.
Alright guys, here's the most recent SEC filing where it states that the company intends to postpone the record date to a future time. Once again, to reiterate, don't panic. The dividend will be coming at a near future date, you guys. Additionally, some really promising news. This is something newest added to the most recent SEC filing that we had never seen before. I've never heard of this company before up until when this recent filing was just released, Meissen Group. As of June 30th, Meissen Group is a wholly owned subsidiary of PHI Group. It states here that the company was delinquent and they've since become good standing. They've since reinstated their good standing with the Secretary of State. It's a Nevada corporation. Here with the SEC, it states here Meissen Group is a mining and exploration company engaged in acquiring and developing mineral properties. So this is a company that was created for leaseholds, to hold the leases for these mineral properties. However, it's very plausible. Now, this is just speculation on our part, but it's very plausible that the reason Henry reinstated the current status of this company is because he may be doing a reverse merger with APR, and he may spin off the special dividend through Meissen Group. And it's very plausible that PHI shareholders will receive the 20-for-1 through Meissen Group, or perhaps they may change the name. But this is a way in which they could do a reverse merger and avoid the whole costly and arduous process of doing an IPO. So just speculation, Meissen Group might be the vehicle in which they use to do this special dividend via reverse merger, stock split, you guys. Just speculation on my part, but like I stated, this is brand new and the most recent filing just a few days back, and we've never seen or heard of this Meissen Group in the past.
Alright, you guys, late breaking news. It's June 28th. I was in the process of editing this video for final production, and Henry just released another 8K June 28th. Here we are, 8K June 28th. And there's some great news and some so-so news. So I'll start with the great news, you guys. In regards to the share repurchase, as kind of anticipated, Henry has extended the share repurchase through December 31st, which is the so-so news, you guys. However, it does give people who are still building out a position time to accumulate shares, you guys. So I'm a big proponent of building wealth gradually over time. So you should be putting aside a portion of your paycheck, and I would encourage you to put it into PHI Group. So continue to accumulate. This gives you more time to do so. The share repurchases program is extended through through December 31st. And you guys know what's going to happen once all the shares are retired. The stock price is going to pop big time. So you guys have more time to accumulate your shares. Here's the great news. The share repurchase program is increased up to 25 billion shares. Now, 25 billion shares is the entire market cap. These are all the outstanding shares. Henry will not be able to purchase all the outstanding shares because guess what, Henry? I'm holding millions of shares and I'm not selling it to you. I'm holding them. I am diamond handing my shares, you guys. And there's a lot of people in the investor community who aren't going to sell those shares. So you're not going to be able to buy out the market cap. You're not taking this company public, Henry. We're holding these shares. But he's pledged to purchase a lot of additional shares, more so than first anticipated, you guys. Great news. Amazing news, you guys. 25 billion shares upwards of being purchased through December 31st of this year, you guys. So that's pretty good news, you guys. Also, additionally, he's extended the special dividend through December 31st. So here it is. The dividend has been extended through December 31st. And here it is. It says here, due to circumstances surrounding COVID, they need additional time to complete the special dividend. The dividend is being extended through December 31st, you guys. Additionally, the 20-for-1 number is now changing. It's actually now 2,000 to 1. The dividend ratio of all eligible shareholders as of the new record date will be entitled to receive 1 share of common stock APR for every 2,000 shares of common stock for PHI Group. That's not to worry, you guys. All he's doing is he's decreasing the outstanding shares of APR. We don't want a huge float like we have with 25 billion shares with PHI. It's really optimal to have a smaller float, you guys. I don't think he's diluting your position. He's simply creating a smaller outstanding share volume. So that's not bad news. It's still the same ratios ultimately in terms of market cap. I'm certain that's going to be the case, you guys. So once again, December 31st extended the special dividend, and the share buybacks are extended through December 31st. The breaking news is that the share buybacks are increased up to 25 billion shares, and the special dividend ratio is changing from 20 to 1 to 2,000 to 1, you guys. So that's information, you guys. I don't think it's terrible news, you guys. If this sells off, use that as a buying opportunity. This market loves to buy the rumor, sell the news. So if we have a dip in share value as a result of this news, you guys need to know that the fundamentals have not changed. This company is still building out an amazing infrastructure with emerging growth, emerging value in Southeast Asia. The fastest growing GDP in the world, you guys. You know that there's value here, you guys. It's a long-term play. Buy the dip, you guys, if this dips. Know what you're holding, you guys. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention, you guys. There's been some FUD surrounding where the funding is coming from to accomplish such an ambitious share buyback program. Well, here it is. Henry addresses this directly, you guys. And you know who you are, Stock Twits Basher, who I was debating the other night about where the funding is coming from to accomplish these share buybacks. Here it is addressed in an SEC filing. The company intends to fund the proposed share repurchase program with the proceeds from the disposal of certain non-core assets from other anticipated sources of income of the company. So there you are, you guys. More clarity. Clarity is good for a shareholder, you guys. Now, we have indeed verified Vinafilms is still operational to this day. I'll provide the link in the description of my YouTube to SD Hunter's video, in which he hired an investigator to hide behind a bush and shoot footage of trucks going in and out of their factory, verifying that they are indeed doing business. So the due diligence in our investor community, as you can tell, is unparalleled. We've really gone far and above and beyond to verify that Vinafilms is indeed operational. I'm going to speak about all the speculation surrounding the revenues of Vinafilms. If you do a quick Google search, Vinafilms Revenue, here's the top search that comes up. The first result that comes up is Vinafilms earned $25 million in revenues in 2017 and $765,000 EBITDA, which is earnings before taxes, depreciation, and interest. If you click the link, it leads you to an SEC filing, and there it is highlighted in yellow. Vinafilms earned $25 million in revenue, $765 EBITDA in 2017, which is when PHI Group had acquired Vinafilms. And the reason that the revenues from 2017 are speculated is because here's a screenshot from what I shared in my last video. Vinafilms is undergoing a GAAP audit. There it is circled in red. And what I suspect is when they conclude their audits, they're going to release amended SEC filings where they include the speculated revenues. And I suspect the revenues will be tremendous. The press release goes on to state that the purpose of acquiring Vinafilms was for them to enter into a joint venture with another leading Vietnamese plastic bag manufacturing company with aims of combined revenues of exceeding $150 million per year by 2019. So perhaps Henry was able to achieve this accomplishment. We just don't know. Like I stated, the gap audit will be finalized, and we'll know for certain really what's transpired with Vinafilms the past several years.
You guys, I'm going to touch on the Philux fund once again. I did speak about about Philux at great length in video number 1. Please revisit video number 1 and educate yourself about Philux. I'm only going to speak about the recent developments in terms of Philux in this video. So here's a recent some slides from a recent emerging growth conference that Henry spoke at. Here he's showing slides showing that Philux was recently activated in June 2021. There you see in yellow Philux. Philux is an RAIF, an alternative, a reserve alternative investment fund. There it is, RAIF. And the reason that Henry traveled all the way out to Luxembourg to establish a banking institution for investment in Vietnam is because an RAIF really offers flexibility in terms of establishing different investment infrastructures. It really meshes well with what he's trying to accomplish. So what you see in yellow is Philux, and below it you see BlackRock. Henry is discussing that BlackRock Global Healthcare Private Equity Fund recently established an RAIF. It's kind of giving more validity to what he's trying to do. He's saying BlackRock adopted the same business model of establishing an RAIF as well. Additionally, in terms of RAIFs, he recently brought on, here's an article from June stating that the Philux RAIF was recently activated. Additionally, they did bring on a partner by the name of Dr. Ben Carl Schmidt. He's the fund structuring agent and global project manager. This is a great accomplishment for Henry because Dr. Schmidt is an authority in terms of Luxembourg banking laws. He is the go-to guy. He's well respected in terms of this niche Luxembourg RAIF funds. And they brought him on as a structuring agent and program manager. So that's phenomenal. Additionally, he's also a partner in DHR Capital. DHR Capital is a capital group in Europe, registered in United Kingdom in London. He was recently brought on as a director. Himself, as well as Henry, are both listed as directors in a separate entity in London. I'm sorry. Here we are, DHR Capital. New board member appointment. April 2021, Dr. Ben Carl Schmidt, you guys. So this is a great accomplishment. Dr. Ben Carl Schmidt being brought on board. Here's a recent quote from Henry. We're pleased to have reached a significant milestone in activating the first ever Vietnam-related Lux Bank Fund. Not only will Vietnam stand to benefit tremendously from the secular trend after the coronavirus, but it's also an excellent investment opportunity in our fund subcompartments. Dr. Ben Carl Schmidt stated with great pride, these are quotes, Dr. Ben Schmidt is stating with great pride, I can announce the finalization and activation of Philux Global Fund. I thank Henry for his trust and confidence in me and my legal and negotiation teams. I look forward to continuing to cooperate with the economic zone and so forth. And he states, Vietnam is the gem of professionalism and beauty amongst all states and governments I have ever assisted. Nice quote from Dr. Schmidt. Really a milestone bringing on Dr. Schmidt as a consultant in both Philux and DHR Capital. So just to go over some recent slides from the Emerging Growth Conference, here's a slide discussing the different initiatives Philux is targeting. I'm just going to move along. He's discussing the Asia Diamond Exchange and the Multi-Commodities Fund. Why Vietnam? Why investment in Vietnam? So one thing I want to bring to your attention is there's a lot of discussion about the ADE, the Asia Diamond Exchange. So it's not only a rough diamond exchange, it's a multi-commodities exchange center, the CMCC and the ADE, you guys. And what I really want to bring to your attention is this bottom portion here. This is really big here, you guys. So Henry stating the ADE and the CMCC is going to adopt a public-private partnership, the PPP projects. This is the way in which Vietnam handles their infrastructure investment within the country. They have partnerships so basically He's stating that Philux is going to own 85% of the ADE and the CMCC, and the Vietnamese federal government will own a 15% share of the company. It's a public-private partnership. This is huge, you guys. If you're partnering with the federal government, the government is going to do whatever it takes to ensure that you're successful. They're going to give you tax incentives and all sort of favorable treatment to ensure that your venture is successful, because your venture is a part of their venture. They own ownership. In this case, they're owning 15% of the ADE and the CMCE. That's great news. If you see, these are the different teams, members, organizations, partnerships in which they have to create to establish the ADE and the CMCC. And if you see, most of these partnerships are different government agencies. You see how much government cooperation is necessary in order to facilitate these. The last two here, the World Federal Diamond Bourse, that's a trade organization, and this is the last one, Kimberly Pross Certification, is like a accrediting agency, you guys. So there's really a lot of different partnerships necessary to establish this. And if you look at phase number 2, initiate administrative phase 2, part 1, set up temporary offices in 2021. Basically, they're stating that they're going to start up a temporary site, and they're going to start operating as soon as possible, you guys. While the permanent site is under construction, they're going to set up temporary offices and start facilitating some sort of business. We might start seeing some early revenues in 2022 from here it states here. Start the CMCC and ADE trading in 2022, you guys. So we don't have to wait years out to facilitate this huge construction of this massive building. They're going to set up temporary offices. They're going to start trading.
You guys, we're only a few weeks out from being pink current, and once we're pink current, Henry's going to be able to freely speak about all the different recent developments. I'm not so concerned about the past, you guys. I'm not concerned about the content in the filings as much as I just want to get current. Whatever happened in the past, I'm not concerned about. Henry, we all know that Henry is a serial entrepreneur and he had many different ventures, some more successful than others. That's in the past, you guys. What's transpiring today is revolutionary. It pales in comparison to what Henry had done in the past, you guys. Philux, Luxembourg banking institution, the partnerships, the endorsements, the partnerships with Ben Carl Schmidt, the partnerships, the PPP projects, that's partly private, partly government-owned quasi. You guys, this is unprecedented on a scale of what Henry has ever done in the past, you guys. So understand, whatever is in the filings, there's no revenues, whatever people are griping about, it doesn't matter what's in the past. We need to get current so we can speak about what's taking place in the future. Henry's not able to speak about the most recent developments in the ADE, the CMCC, and Philux, because his hands are tied. He has to speak in a sequential order because these are SEC requirements. So once we're pink current, then he could freely speak about the most recent developments, you guys. So the emphasis in getting pink current is not to find out what's in the filings. Forget about the filings. Let him release the filings. I want to know what he's working on today, Henry. So that's the emphasis, you guys. So PHI is a micro cap operating on the OTC market space, and it's gotten a lot of media attention, so it's gotten a lot of hype, and a lot of people have been day trading and swinging this stock. So it's run up from sub pennies up until 2 pennies, and then it came crashing down, you guys. Since I first spoke about it, it ran up 550%, and then even after the crash, I'm still up about 180% of my position today, you guys. And I'm not selling shares, you guys. I'm holding this long term. I don't care about the day-to-day gyrations. You guys could dump it, sell it, buy it back, whatever you want to do. I am diamond handing my shares, you guys. I am a high believer. This is a high conviction stock for me, you guys. Now, there's been a lot of delays in the special dividends and the buybacks, and a lot of people are even questioning whether this is even happening or whether it's like some sort of fraud scheme, you guys. You guys know what you're holding. Believe in the due diligence, you guys. Realize that these delays are ultimately for the benefit of the shareholders, you guys. The delay in the share buybacks is enabling Henry to purchase even more shares. He's increased the share buybacks from 15 upwards of 25 billion, you guys. The APR special dividend is being delayed because he needs more time to get pink current. He simply can't facilitate the special dividend until he's pink current. We're waiting on the auditors to complete their auditing process. These are certain things that are out of the control of Henry and ourselves as investors. We simply need to remain patient, you guys. If we sell our shares and this thing starts to pop, we're going to be regretful, you guys. Know one thing, that most people lose out on wealth by over trading. If you simply held on to your shares and left it in your portfolio unchanged, people will have realized the max gains as opposed to trading in and out of positions, you guys. This is a high conviction stock. You guys really need to diamond hand these shares, you guys. Thanks for watching, you guys. I'll see you on the next one.